What's up YouTube, Kristo here, and I finally have time, so I thought I would finally tackle my second Q&A video. I submitted a video months ago asking for my subscribers and viewers to put in questions, things I wanted to ask about me. And I did the first part like 3 months ago or something, and I just didn't have enough time. So I thought, as I have time now, I would finally get it done. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask my questions from my subscribers and viewers, and I would answer them as candidly as possible. Nothing is pre-scripted. This is all just off the cuff. So I'm going to ask a question, and I will put in annotations below the subscriber that submitted it. I tried as hard as I could to get everyone in. I think I did pretty well, so let's get into it. So the first question is, where are you from originally? And I live in Indonesia. I've lived in Indonesia for nearly 10 years, but originally I am from Canada. I'm from the province of Ontario, a very tiny little retirement village in Canada. Nothing too spectacular going on there, so I'm not going to get too into it, but I am originally from southern Ontario, Canada. Next question, why did you move to Indonesia? Where did you live before? Why did I move here? Well, I think the reason that most people move to another country for prosperity, for a better life, for something different. I moved here when I was quite young. I was still only 21, and I wanted something different in my life. I wanted to do something unique and interesting, kind of a gap year thing. So that's the reason I came here. It was quite random that I moved to Indonesia. I accepted the first job I was offered. Before I lived in Indonesia, I was in Canada. I went basically from rural Ontario to one of the largest cities on the earth, so it was a really great but shocking difference. Next question, where do you buy your fragrances as they seem cheap? Well, I buy probably about 90% of my fragrances online, locally in Indonesia, online or from discount retailers in Indonesia. I do have a lot of friends in Europe and North America who are very, very generous and will help me out with shipping, and they'll buy things from websites in North America and Europe and have them sent over to me in Asia. But most of the stuff I buy here is, from here. And the thing is, they do seem cheap, essentially, but the thing is, the cost of living here is much, much lower. So, when I pay $40 for a designer fragrance, it's actually quite a lot compared to the general standard of living. I'm an expat. I do make a bit more than the average Indonesian, so it's not quite as taxing on me, but yeah, most of the fragrances I buy are locally discounted as well. I don't buy retail. Next question, how old are you? I'm 31. I recently turned 31. I'm not big on birthdays at all. I hate birthdays. I'll celebrate your birthday. I love celebrating my friends' birthdays, everyone else's birthday but mine. Don't like it. I'm 31. If you want to find out the day I was born, you have to do some reconnaissance work, but 31. Besides fragrances, what do you do in your free time? I'm recently married. I have a child. I don't have a lot of free time. I do like to watch TV. I love music. I'm really, really, really big into music. So basically, between my wife and my child and work, I like to listen to music. I'm into kind of indie, lo-fi music. I talked about that in the other Q&A video though. Love reading. I'm into Charles Bukowski, Bill Bryson books, non-fiction basically. I collect money, old Indonesian money, things like that. Next question, and this is absolutely without a doubt the most asked question. What's the story behind your tattoos? Well, to me, my tattoos have a very personal feeling. There's not really much of a story. A lot of my tattoos have more of a time and place feeling. So when I look at the tattoo, it's not necessarily the design I think of, it's more so what I was doing in my life when I got that tattoo. My most recent tattoo, which I think a lot of people have seen, is the tattoo across my collar, my neck, Roman. This is my son's name. I got this, I don't know, a couple months ago. That's the only one I'm going to show you. I'm too fat and out of shape to show my tattoos, to take off my shirt on YouTube. But yeah, so my tattoos are more so about a time and a place rather than a direct story. Next question. I have a problem with longevity on my skin. Could this be attributed to the weather? Absolutely, without a doubt. Longevity and projection will have a lot to do with your weather, your climate, but as well with your skin conditions. If you keep your skin kind of nice and moist, then they will last longer. If you have dry, cracking skin, they won't last as long. The oils just get sucked right in. So if you do live in somewhere like the person who asked in New York City or Southern Ontario where I'm from, if you do keep your skin nicely manicured with some kind of unscented skin cream, it is without a doubt the best way, in my opinion, to keep the scent on your skin as long as you can. And what is your favorite fragrance from the 80s, 90s, and from 2000 to current? Well, I'm a child of the 90s and 2000s, so there's just way too many. There's way too many for me to answer that. So I'm going to answer the 80s, and I'm going to answer it with authority. Without a doubt, my favorite fragrance from the 80s is Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is phenomenal. I love it. I hated it the first time I tried Fahrenheit. I was disgusted by it. I couldn't believe that people wanted to smell like it. But I gave it time. I came back to it, and I'm in love with it. I love Fahrenheit so much. As for the 90s and 2000s, there's way too many for me to answer. Next question. How long did it take you to get acclimatized to Indonesia, and how is the food? Well, how long did it take me to get acclimatized to Indonesia? I'd like to think I acclimatized pretty quickly. I adjusted really fast. I lived with really great people. I lived with a lot of expats from England, South Africa, Europe, and they were really nice, they were really generous. They took me under their wing. They kind of showed me the ropes, and for that, you know, I am kind of forever grateful because they were really great people. The food, I mentioned this briefly in my bio video. Indonesian food is amazing. It is without a doubt some of the best in Asia, yet at the same time it is so overlooked. People totally overlook Indonesian food. They go to Vietnamese and Thai food, but Indonesian food is awesome. If you live in a major city in North America or Europe, I highly recommend checking it out. Next question, do you listen to electronic music at all? I do, but very minimally. I'm not really into electronic music. I kind of talked about this in my first part. I'm more into indie rock, lo-fi, kind of noise music. But for electronic music, I love Vladislav Delay. He's got this kind of organic, ambient feel. I love him. I've been listening to him since I was in high school. Vladislav Delay, absolutely amazing artist. He is, without a doubt, my favorite electronic artist. But on the whole, not really my favorite genre. Next one, why is Stoke your favorite team? Well, Stoke isn't particularly my favorite team. I'm not really into soccer, so to say, but my old roommates, my old friends, especially the British ones, really got me into soccer, and I've started following numerous British teams or English teams, Stoke, Tottenham, Liverpool, and basically just because, you know, I had people that I lived with who kind of showed me the way. So I do have to say Stoke City, the Potters, go Potters, they are my favorite team, but there are others that I'll support. Next question, what is there to do in Indonesia for leisure, and what are you working there? What are you doing working there? So what is there to do for leisure in Indonesia? There's everything. Jakarta is the greatest kind of cesspool in the world. There's everything. If you've got the money, you can do anything you want in Jakarta. It's got some of the best restaurants, some of the best nightlife, some of the best hotels in the world. For me, I'm a family man now. I prefer the beach. I prefer something quiet, something leisurely. So Indonesia, absolutely without a doubt, has some of the best beaches and islands in the world. What am I doing here? I'm a teacher. I've been teaching here for nearly 10 years, and probably a long time to come. Next question, if you were to make your own fragrance, what would it be, and what would the top, middle, and base notes be, and what would you call it? Well, that's a really big question, and I've actually been thinking about this for a long time. Even well before I was a reviewer on YouTube, I thought about making my own fragrance. All I can say for now is that I would definitely like to do something that highlights Indonesia and the different areas of Indonesia. I'd like to look at Indonesian qualities like cacao, coffee, tea, different spices from the different areas of the country, things like that. You know, I can't say I'm going to release my own fragrance line in the future, but, you know, it's always kind of something I've thought about, so I don't want to give too much away about it. And the last question, is it abnormal to want to buy a new fragrance every day if you have the funds available? No, it's not. But the biggest thing is, and, you know, take it from me, a kind of veteran collector, if you're starting out in perfume and you have like hundreds or thousands of dollars to spend, take a bit of time and refine your taste, because I guarantee whatever you're into at the start of your journey, 6, 9, 12 months down the line, you're not going to be into it. So for the first part of your journey, you don't want to waste too much money. I highly recommend in the first few months checking out samples, checking out reviews, but you know, I did that. I bought like 50, 75 bottles in my first half a year, and there's so many of them that I hate and I don't like, and I'm trying to sell them and I'm taking a loss on them and stuff. So if you have the money, of course, do it. But I mentioned this in my first part, don't go into debt. It's not worth it. It's not worth going into debt to impress people, plain and simple. There you go, finally, part 2 for my Q&A with Kristo BetawiBlood. I hope you enjoy it. It's a bit too long, but whatever, better sooner than later. So, see you again, everybody.